Ambassador Factor.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This your boy, Bankful B of The Last of the Factor, and with the original Toy Story being back in theaters, I did go to the theater to go see it, but I thought, let's take it a step further, and I wanted to stop and rank every movie within the Toy Story universe. That includes Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4, the Lightyear movie from a few years ago, and even Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, which did get a feature-length film back in the day. It went straight to VHS, but hey, it's a feature-length film, and yeah, it's only 2 episodes that were stitched to, well, really, I guess 4 episodes stitched together, but still. I just thought it'd be fun to do, and also I didn't go back to rewatch all the other movies after the first Toy Story. I'm gonna wait until Toy Story 5 comes out so I can sit down and watch all of them. But for right now, these are just my off the top thoughts on each Toy Story film and how I rank each of them. So let's get into it. Coming in dead last, and until Toy Story 5 says otherwise, in unchanged position is Lightyear, which came out in 2022 and was basically supposed to be a movie about Buzz Lightyear, the character, not the toy. But to me, this movie was a huge disappointment for a number of reasons. I gave this movie a chance. Maybe this movie could be good, but I remember walking out of this theater feeling like, that's it. This movie was supposed to be essentially an in-universe movie in which Andy went to the theater to go see this movie and made him go like, I want a Buzz Lightyear action figure. So I was cool with that, but my beef with this movie is the fact of like, okay, you made a Buzz Lightyear cartoon from back in the day. Why didn't you just go off of that? You had the tools. We passed them to you and you just dropped them. What they did with Zurg in this movie is just unforgivable and character assassination. Now, granted, I understand they didn't want to be handcuffed to the lore from the Buzz Lightyear cartoon, but at the same time, if the lore is good enough, just use it. Like I said, this movie was a huge disappointment and wasted potential. Coming in at number 5 is Buzz Lightyear of Star Command: The Adventure Begins, which is essentially a, I guess, hour and a half, 2 hour, I don't know how long it is, but basically it was the feature-length pilot to the Buzz Lightyear cartoon from back in the day. Now, granted, I have not seen this in a long time, nor have I seen the cartoon in a long time, but I do remember loving it for the many times over the years that I've seen it. And like I said, why didn't the Lightyear movie just go off of what was established in this movie? Don't know. And in the Lightyear movie, they had Chris Evans play the voice of Buzz Lightyear, which I thought was admirable. But in this movie, they brought back Tim Allen to play the voice of Buzz Lightyear. And then, of course, for the TV dub of this show, they brought in a different actor to play the voice, but still, Tim Allen, he still brings that same love and attention to the character here, and this movie in itself was still entertaining. Plus, I do feel this movie does count within the Toy Story universe because there was a bit at the beginning of this movie in which the little green soldiers, they bring in the VHS copy of this movie. Woody, Buzz, they bring it in and they're getting ready to watch it, and then Rex, the dinosaur, he does have his little bit. At number 4 is Toy Story 4, which could have gone horribly wrong, but ultimately it was still good. Granted, it's not one of my favorites, but it turned out to be a lot better than it had any right to be. And I just feel this movie gets by because think of it like this. Toy Story 3 gave us closure to Andy's story. Toy Story 4 gave us closure to Woody's story. I don't know if Woody's going to come back in Toy Story 5, but we shall see. But I just like the little adventure he has with being reunited with Bo Peep and then realizing that he has no purpose with a human no more. And so he goes off and do his own little thing, which was a bit unexpected, but it worked. Now, granted, there are some things that may piss off hardcore Toy Story fans, but at the same time, what this movie did and presented, I felt it worked. And all the voice actors involved with this movie, they still got it as these characters. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky for me because I love both of these movies equally, and depending on the day, I may like one more than the other, or the other more than the other. To me, these are just two perfect movies right here. Despite some of the animation in the first movie doesn't quite hold up as much compared to the standards of Pixar today, but it's still a masterpiece in the writing alone. And Toy Story 2 turned out to be a lot better than it had any right to be, and some would even say that it's one of the rare sequels that's even better than the first. To me, these are two perfect movies that have the same amount of positives and for different reasons. So, realistically, I have both of these movies at a tie, but when you compare a sequel that was a lot better than it had any right to be versus not just the first Toy Story, but the first Pixar movie ever, which was innovative in itself, I'm going to place Toy Story 2 at number 3, with the innovative edge going to the original Toy Story at number 2. Finally, y'all knew this was coming. Toy Story 3 at number 1. To me, this is just the perfect threequel right here. And when this series was a trilogy at the time, this was the perfect capper for a trilogy. Now, granted, the only real negative I have towards this movie is that there's no casually watching this movie. Like, I gotta be ready to sit down and lock in and be emotionally ready to go on the journey that this movie takes me on. Like, with the first two Toy Stories, like, I can put those on at any given moment and have a good time. Whereas with this one, there's no casually watching this one. This is an experience itself. In fact, let's be honest, I'm not watching Toy Story 3 without watching the first two Toy Stories. But like I said, this is the perfect capper for a trilogy right here. And it also helps that at the time when this movie came out, I was like Andy at the end of this movie. I was also getting ready to go off to college. So at the end, when Andy gives away his toys, I felt like I was Andy in that moment. I was just not only saying goodbye to these characters, but I was also saying goodbye to my childhood. And even before that, when all the toys they're in the dump area and they're about to get incinerated and they all just accept their fate and hold hands until they're saved by the little green aliens, man, tears. Yeah, this is one of the few movies that made me cry between that moment and at the moment at the end where Andy gives away his toys. For a long time, people considered Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 just the perfect trilogy. But of course, Pixar just doesn't know how to leave well alone at times. But that's my ranking of the Toy Story universe. Here's a quick recap. You can check it out on my Letterboxd at Last of the Factor. That's it for the day. Have you seen all these movies? If so, let me know what you think of each one, what's your favorite, and how would you rank all these movies? Let me know in the comments section below. This is your boy Bankful B of The Last of the Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.